Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Ship and Read, and welcome to yet another reading vlog. So I'm actually starting this video Friday night, kind of late actually, but I wanted to get this started because I want to do a 48-hour like weekend reading vlog this weekend since I have some time to actually dedicate and read. So that's kind of what I plan to do, and so I thought I'll film it, and really it's for the magical readathon because I have not been doing the best. I've read maybe like I think 3 books at this point, and I still have like 4 books to read, and it is now August 26th, so I have a couple days left, and I figured why not use this last weekend of this month to try to like bang out some books and get to reading. So that's kind of what the general theme of this reading vlog is going to be about. But before I jump into the books I want to read, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe down below as well as the notification bell. But I have 3 books that I am aiming to read for this weekend, and then I have maybe an audiobook that I'm going to try to read because the last prompt for me, or the last like curriculum, is for me to read a book starting with a drink, so that can be anything. So I'm probably going to finish up the current audiobook that I'm listening to, and then for the next one I am going to start a drink with that book, and then we'll go from there. All right, so these are the 3 books that I am reading right now, or this I'm planning to read. This is the first book that I'm currently reading, and I was just wondering where my bookmark is. Over there. This fucking cat just stole it from me, so I don't know what page I am on, but I think I was on like just the first like couple pages. Like I really have not made too much progress, but this is the first book I am going to try to attempt. I'm going to try to read some more tonight, and we'll see how this goes. These 3 books are all from my animal studies curriculum, so I have book 1, book 2, and book 3. I'm going to try to read this book as well, but I really don't really know. I feel like thank god I have that one ability where you can like DNF and it still counts, so I have a feeling it'll be this one, but I really, sometimes when you have no expectations, that's the book that you end up loving the most. So we'll see about this one. Then the 3rd book I'm going to read is this one. This one's going to be like Animal Companion. This one's short, so I feel it'll be easy to read. It'll be perfect. Honestly, these 2 books are both pretty short. This is the only book that's like a little bit on the thicker side, but it's not even that thick. So we'll see. But yeah, these are the 3 books I'm going to be tackling this weekend. But yeah, I just wanted to start off this reading vlog, and then I'm going to eat because I just got back from dropping off my boyfriend at the airport, and I haven't had time to eat yet, and it's now like 8:30. So I want to eat something quickly, probably watch my show Alchemy of Souls, which by the way is so freaking good, and then after that I'm going to get to reading. But anyways, I'm pretty excited about my reading for this weekend. And dinner is served. This is my leftovers. I have some leftover curry here, and then some of the like pork that I got yesterday at the restaurant with my friends, and of course some kimchi on the side because I need some veggies. But I'm fucking excited. This is a fucking feast. I don't think I'm gonna finish it all, but we'll see. I look like a hot mess. I am a hot mess. Let's just ignore that fact and move on because it is now like Saturday 10:30 in the morning, but this day has been kind of wild already. Came back home so I can like decompress and like eat because I haven't eaten all day yet. So while I'm waiting for my food to heat up, I just wanted to update you guys in terms of my reading. I have not really read too much in terms of Enchantment of Ravens. I'm now on page 24, but I just want to say one thing. As much as I love those like metallic bookmarks, they are so not the best bookmarks. They don't really, I feel like it defeats the purpose of having a bookmark because they are so like slippery in the pages that half the time, what are you guys doing? Look at these cats. Half the time I like pick up the book and like the bookmark just like flies out, and I'm like, So then I always lose my place. Like this happens like multiple times. Like the metal bookmarks or certain like bookmarks, like their material, even like the paperish ones, are just not great. So I'm stuck now with this regular bookmark from Fairy Loot, which is fine. It's still a pretty bookmark, but I just wanted to like vent about it because I'm like, as pretty as they are, I feel like the purpose of it is for bookmarks, and like if they just fly out that quickly and that easily, kind of like defeats the purpose of having them. So anyways, all I can say so far is that the book is good. It's very different than Sorcery of Thrones. I believe this is her debut book, and you can definitely tell that it reads more like amateur, I guess, in terms of her second book. I guess like her sophomore book. It's good, but it's different, and I'm really curious to get into it. Basically follows a girl called Isabel, who is an artist. She is an oil paint artist, and so she works with the fair folk, which are fays, and she has gotten so used to working with them that she kind of knows how to work around them, understand their language in terms of the fact that they can't lie, but they will use a lot of like trickery and manipulation of words to deceive you still, to get around the fact that they cannot lie. And so she knows that, and then one day she finds out that the Autumn Prince is actually coming to her for a painting, and so she's like kind of freaking out because even though she's worked with the fair folk so many times, she's never worked with royalty before. So she is now preparing herself, and that's kind of the premise of this book. From what I remember about the synopsis is that she ends up drawing like human emotions onto him, and because of that it's like a crime punishable by death. And so I guess the prince is going to whisk her off to the fairyland or something, and things kind of happen from there. But as of right now, she's still preparing for the arrival of the prince. So I'm still very much early on this book. I'm very excited to kind of learn more about it because it sounds really good, and I loved Sorcery of Thrones. Like I think it was my top books of like the year a couple years ago, so I have very high hopes for this one. But I also do know that this is her debut book, so the writing is just not as mature, I suppose. But yeah, so anyways, I just want to update you guys in terms of this reading with my lovely showered hair. I'm such a mess right now. Hopefully I get more reading done. So this is turning out to be not the greatest reading vlog or weekend actually, because I'm still reading this book but I really haven't made too much progress. I'm now on page 76, so I've made some progress, but I've been just so focused on watching this K-drama like Alchemy of Souls. I'm now episode 19 and there's episode 20. I'm waiting for that one to come out I think next weekend, but I'm about to finish up the last episode that I have available for me right now, and I'm so invested. It's so freaking good, so I'm gonna continue watching that for a little bit. But then after that I am going to try to focus on this book. I did read some of my audiobook, but that book is still like the book that I'm just currently listening to. I'm really bad at starting another book while I'm already reading or listening to another book, unless it's already like two separate like means of reading. For example, if I read a physical book, I can also listen to an audiobook, but then I can't stop and then start a new audiobook or a physical book if I'm already reading one to start off with. So because of that, I have to just finish this audiobook first and then see how that goes, and then I can finally pick up my actual book. But in the meantime though, I'm going to continue reading this as much as I can, and hopefully it'll be good. But so far I'm invested. Right now I just continues following on with Isabel and the Autumn Prince, and right now I got to the part where the prince realized that she had made a spectacle of himself by displaying sorrow in his eyes, which is a sign of weakness. And so the painting was revealed in front of the entire Autumn court. So he is pissed off, and the only way to rectify the situation is if he goes and grabs her and executes her in front of the court as a way to like save face. So now they're going on a journey back to the Autumn court, and things are kind of happening in the meantime. I'm still not entirely sure what's happening, but it has something to do with the hunts. and the Winter Court. So definitely a lot of like politics involved, a lot of secrets, because the prince is not telling Isabel a lot of these things. So I'm kind of just learning as he reveals things slowly, as well as when certain events occur. So definitely more of a slower paced book for now, but I also have not gone too far into it. So as soon as I finish watching this episode, I am definitely going to just sit down and read. So I've officially retreated into the bedroom. I have not read. I read 2 pages since I've last updated you guys, but it's only 9 p.m. So I'm going to try to read for the hour or so and see where that goes. But I was watching Alchemy of Souls, and it's like, I feel like episode 19 ended things in a good way, but like there's another episode, but there's still a few things that are still like unresolved, but I don't think it justifies an entire episode for that. I feel like everything can be wrapped up in like 30 minutes kind of situation. So I'm curious to see how that will wrap up next week, but I'm gonna get to reading now. But yeah, I retreated to the bedroom because I'm quite tired, even though it's only 9 p.m. but I woke up like crazy early this morning to do all like my stuff, and I don't know, somehow like my throat hurts now. I don't know like what I did, but like I was literally folding my clothes and suddenly my throat hurts, and I'm like, weird. So I might just chill and read and then probably head to bed early because I'm freaking tired. Okay, so it's been a hot minute. It is now 2 p.m. on Sunday, but I just sat down and I just banged out this book right here, Enchantment of Raven by Margaret Rogerson. This book I will give 3.5 stars. Originally when I first finished it I was like 4 stars, but right now after like a couple minutes I think that it's probably best to be 3.5 stars because it's good, it's whimsical, but I feel like the romance, obviously there's romance here by the way guys, between Isabel and the Autumn Prince, in case that's not obvious, but the romance itself felt very out of nowhere. I never really felt like there was any sort of attraction between the two, and suddenly Isabel is like, yeah, I think I'm in love with this guy, but she never really got to know him until later on when this whole situation happens with him kidnapping her, etc. And then things kind of happen and I'm thinking to myself like, Stockholm syndrome, like I don't know, like I just feel like the romance, which is like the main part of this book, felt unbelievable. So for an aspect that's just a huge part of the book to be so like unrealistic, I don't think that's great. So that's why I give this book 3.5 stars. The conclusion was kind of like interesting as well, definitely very like Fae-like in terms of how things came to be and like who's pulling the strings of what happening, and like there's just a lot of stuff happening for sure. And I definitely felt like very not confused per se, but like I felt like I was like jolted in many different directions purely because of what was happening. So conclusion also felt very like it was going in circles kind of, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I feel like overall I still enjoyed it. Like it was very whimsical. I like the writing style. I also really enjoyed reading more about the fairies in this book and just kind of like the craft and what their limitations were, etc. Like it was just a really fascinating book. But I think overall, I think it's just 3.5 stars. Like it was good, but Sorcery of Thrones was like significantly better, like hands down. But anyways, moving on to my next book. It's going to be Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This one's about a fairy tale where the princess kills the prince, and that's all I know. I just know that this book is supposed to be about like a animal companion, and from what I read online, there's like a chicken who is a companion. So I don't know, I think I want to take a break for a little bit because I've just been sitting on this couch for the past like 2 hours just reading, and I think I want to just get up and do something else that's not reading, and then we'll see. But I am going out to dinner soon, and then we're going to the movies, so I probably won't get much chance of reading this book, so we'll just see how much I read. But I will be concluding this vlog tomorrow morning just because I don't think I'll have time tonight. So anyways, all right, welcome to the next day, which is the end of this video. This weekend has been not the best in terms of reading. I didn't think I read much on Saturday, like at all, and it wasn't until the last like 2 hours or so that I decided to bust out my first book, which is Enchantment of Ravens, which I finished and gave 3.5 stars, something like that. But that's for this book. And then I picked up Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, and honestly I think I read a couple for a little bit in the beginning, and then I went out for dinner, which I have a lovely picture of the pizza that we got, and then we went to see a Korean movie called Alienoid. It just came out. I wanted to see it because it had like Choi Woo Bin in it, and I haven't seen him in a while, and I really like him as an actor. So I was really curious about the movie. It's sci-fi, it's fantasy, it's about time traveling, it's about aliens. It's really fascinating. It was such a good time. And so by the time I got home from that, it was like 10 something p.m. and then I was doing some cat stuff, and next thing I know I was like, oh, and then I was also on talking to my boyfriend because he's traveling, and so I did not do much reading. So that being said though, I got to page 22, which is not the greatest, but I am going to actually DNF this book because I am just confused and I'm not a fan of the writing style. Also, just a short second, let me show you a picture of my cat right now. Look at her, she's just licking her paws. How adorable. Like I can't. Washing her face. This is just how she is. So adorable. But anyway, so I just want to update you guys in terms of that. But I just didn't really care much for Nettle and Bone. I didn't like the writing style. I felt like the flow was really off because it seemed like it deviated from present day when she's trying to like make this bone dog guard thingy, like a skeleton, and past when she was in the convent. But the thing is, like, the jumps really weirdly, like it's not really obvious at all, and there's just not a lot of flow, like good flow between any of the time frames. So it's just really awkward. Like the writing just feels awkward. I wasn't a fan of it. The characters herself, I was like, I don't really understand like what you're doing and like where you're coming from. Like I don't understand like anything right now. I mean, granted I only got to like 20 something pages, but I feel like usually like there's something that needs to grab my attention from the beginning, and there's like nothing about this book that grabbed my attention. So I'm gonna DNF it, which is unfortunate, but at least I have that like guild ability, whatever. So you know, that's cool. So that was kind of it in terms of my reading for this weekend. I never got to my audiobook, which is to start a book with a drink, because I was still listening to the audiobook that I was listening to originally before I started this video, and that was kind of it. So my reading this weekend was probably not the greatest, but I at least got one book down, which is really good, because and then I DNF'd the other one. But either way though, I still finished 2 prompts, so I'm pretty happy about the progress at least. But that's it in terms of the reading update. Sometimes some weekends are just not the best weekends. Like you have the best intentions and things kind of go awry. I don't know, I feel like sometimes when I dedicate myself to reading, I never actually end up reading because I have this pressure of reading that like I'd rather do something else, and that's kind of what I did this weekend with watching my shows. So anyways, it is what it is. And if you're doing the magical readathon, how have you guys been doing? I think by the time this video goes up, I think it just ended or something, so let me know how you guys did for the magical readathon and if you had completed all of your curriculum, your exams, etc. But anyways, that's all to say for this video. As always, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. I'd like to support my channel, and if you can see more content of me, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below, as well as hit the notification bell. And as always, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.